Hey YouTube, I got thinking about something and I just wanted to share it. So this particular little rant is going to be talking about important aspects of taking care of young people, especially children, when there is a lot of stress going on during a crisis. Now obviously for most people that are mindful of their children's well-being, one of the best things you can do is to provide a distraction, so they don't have to internalize and witness the suffering and the mayhem around them. With that, though, the children still do pick up on pain and suffering. And so it's going to be important for them to allow themselves to express themselves and their emotions so they can process their thoughts and collect themselves and to gain a better idea of what is going on and why they feel like they feel. So it is important to have various techniques available in your kits, especially even your bug out bag, if you have small young children, to help them process things that are maybe difficult for them to verbally communicate. For example, children don't have the largest vocabulary. And so instead of them being very, having the capability in particular to be very specific, they typically are more creative in their expression. So for example, it may be good to have a coloring book, but more in particular, maybe several different types of media. Could be markers, crayons, pencils, and maybe just a small drawing, just like a blank sheets, just like some drawing paper. Could be a small notebook that are just blank. There's no lines, and that they can actually draw or write or whatever their capability is to express themselves. This is going to be a very helpful aid. Be mindful, though, that certain types of art media exploits various types of facets of emotion. For example, if you're into painting, it tends to exploit more of your emotional side. So the more fluid the media, the more emotional. The more concrete the media, such as graphite, maybe even the real hard crayons, markers to some degree, are going to be a lot more concrete. And so you'd also have things like clay. Those things may not be so great for mobile use just because they have a lot more weight to them. But there is a continuum here. And the continuum, interplays with your the facets of your emotional state. And so to work with kids in particular on allowing them to harvest and to expose their emotional states, multimedia and in the use of creative art techniques can go a long way to help kids be able to actually process through trauma. And so this is just a heads up. This is just something that I do share with my friends and family that have kids, to include this if they prep. And it can't really be a bad thing. If anything, you can use this as well as, us adults, to use these techniques to help us express. Because some of us, even though we may have a large vocabulary, sometimes we don't even have words for how we feel. And so it is also important to have these different means of communication and expression, because you never know when you get stuck. You know how things sometimes get stuck on things emotionally, or you just mentally, start to work in circles and you're counterproductive. And this circular logic can actually be self-defeating. And so we need to kind of be mindful of why we would get stuck, just like with individuals with PTSD. They have not been able to process fully the activities of trauma that has occurred to them or happened to them. And so they get stuck in that processing and they relive it over and over because the body is not able to push through and process the emotion. So that's why there's a lot of different techniques out there, such as EMDR, that actually exploit the mind's system to help allow the processing of the trauma to unfold so that you can go on with your life and get beyond that stuck memory, those emotions that are just trapped. And so let's be mindful that when bad things happen to us, We do have to be able to express and process through. We're not machines. We don't just get up, and have the capability to just do whatever we want. Even some of the most battle-hardened soldiers in the world deal with PTSD. They deal with stuck emotions, trauma that they can't figure out how to get beyond. And that's because we're human. We're supposed to have that because we're not supposed to experience some of these things. And in the modern world, we have the capability to do things that we were never able to do in the past. And so in the past, stress and anxiety served as a survival tool to help us avoid danger. In the modern world, because of our stress load is so high, and because we actually create our own stress, our body is still trying to, in my opinion, evolve or move into an acclimation mode to handle this. And the thing about technology, which continues to exponentially grow at a much faster rate than us biologically can adapt, causes a lot of inferential problems. So let's always give ourselves and our children the chance to express themselves and to decompress, because it's going to be vital for our well-being. You can literally get yourself in a big mess and really cause yourself a lot of pain and suffering if you do not allow yourself just to be a human being and experience the emotions that are appropriate for whatever's happened to you. I wish everyone well, and I'll catch you later.